Basically, I was asked to provide some background, historical information about how we got to where we are, some of the thoughts that went into the creation of the original ordinance. I wasn't here when that was first drafted, okay, but there was a pretty good file in the office. Bill kept the file on it, some of the memos, some of the drafts, and essentially this ordinance was part of a larger discussion about growth in general, about the rate of growth and the type of growth. Okay, the issue of the rate of growth could have taken any number of approaches, but what was settled on was to do it on a case-by-case basis with each developer as they brought their projects into the city. Okay? So the other part of that whole debate was what type of building is to be built. And the concern was that we were seeing a very similar size structure, the same looking structure, and what was settled on was to focus on the footprint, the actual size of the building. And that was a conscious decision that was taken at the time. We went through any number of drafts. Bill Connors met with developers and advised accordingly based on their input. And it was adopted in 2004. And there's a lot more information in here, but that's a synopsis of what happened.
Okay.
I had a couple questions for you, Tim. First of all, one of the things that I was asking about the last time that this came up was where the actual numbers that are currently in the ordinances came from. It sounds like you didn't really find anything.
Well, there was information in the file, or listings from the multiple listing service of various house sizes in the Oregon and Stoughton areas. The bottom line is that those numbers of the draft that Bill had, the numbers were higher, and that was developers, builders, and we bumped it down. So there's nothing to fall back on to say this is why each one was sized accordingly.
And I guess my follow-up question to that would be, and I did notice in this memo as well that there was at least mentioned Oregon and Stoughton, but not necessarily what exactly they had in place. But I guess, does Oregon and Stoughton not allow smaller houses than a certain number? And if so, how do they provide for certain elements of the community that do not need larger houses?
I believe what was happening at the time was basically market driven. They were seeing a lot of people from Madison, and the incomes were a little bit higher, so therefore the homes were a little bit larger. And I think that was the end goal here in